So in my day job, I like to talk to my clients to tell them about the wonders of automation, to tell them how to improve their teams, make them fitter, happier, more productive by automating the boring stuff. Today, I'm going to do something slightly different. I'm going to talk about a couple of concepts that are not so good about automation. And they're coming from my background as an aerospace engineer. Before I started in IT, I did a study aerospace engineering, and I was really bad at it. But I learned a bit. So in my day job, I used this model. It's an automation maturity model with a bunch of checklists to see where you are and where you're going as an organization. And most of my clients are on the bottom end. So lately, I've been looking at the top end, about the magical self-running system and what happens when you move the human out of the loop. And there are some issues there. And the elephant in the room, AI. For me, AI is an automation tool. It's not something magical. It's just automation that's easy to deploy, hard to debug. Argue with me over beer. So the first story starts with this engine. It's a magical engine, the LEAP 1B, very efficient. And not at all because fuel is a major cost driver in airlines. But the thing is, it's big, so it has to move a bit more in the front for the Boeing 737, where it's being deployed. And Boeing created an automation to compensate it. Only they didn't tell the pilots they had this automation. So now the first concept is automation of price. The automation, MCAS, is pushing the nose down, and when it starts to do that, when it shouldn't, the pilots didn't know that. So they started struggling with the automation, struggling and losing. And that ended up really, really badly. And it's called an automation surprise. And if you do that and you're running a mission-critical application, you might end up on John Oliver's talk show. So how do we compensate for that? Well, in self-driving cars, we compensate by telling the driver to keep their hands on the steering wheel, keep paying attention, even though the automation is driving itself. So the next story is about an automation like this, auto throttle. Auto throttle is really, really simple. You put in a speed and an altitude, and the auto throttle will move these levers, these throttle levers, to the right position. Now, it's doing its job really well, and when it doesn't, if it does its job 99% of the time very well, you stop paying attention, and that's called automation-induced complacency. If you stop paying attention and it does go wrong, which it did in this case with the auto throttle, one of the levers was stuck, so it moved one lever back and the other not, and the airplane started spiraling out of control and suddenly stopped flying. So that's very, very bad. So what can we do to prevent the complacency? Well, keep the human in the loop. Keep the human in control. And the problem with that one is, if your system, humans have a tendency to believe the computer. When a computer presents you, an automation presents you with an outcome, humans tend to believe it despite other data to the contrary. The childcare benefits scandal is an example of that one. But in aerospace, the most famous one is this, which sparked the entire research field, which had pilots arguing among each other whether or not their altimeter was wrong, right up until the airplane crashed into the marsh. So this is not what you should take away from my talk. This is the wrong slide. So we'll move to the next one, which is what you should take away. And that is, how do you fix this? In the airline industry, we're talking about situational awareness. The operator should know intimately what the system is doing, what the automation is doing, in order to understand what's happening. DevOps is helping in this. If you're deploying automation for another team, that's very hard. And the other takeaway is this one: don't undervalue the role of the human. AI would not have landed this plane in the Hudson because it's not classified as an airfield. The pilot was able to do it. In summary, paraphrasing Dutch commercial, automation is fine, but please deploy it in moderation.